Going to start the record. Now, starting with BTC today, February 19th, we'll go through all active list and we plan to trim down active list. I'll be labeling them with and then later remove. We'll be focusing more on coins that are on ad hoc. And if you look at the ad hoc channel, it's not that I'm giving only one target, but I'm giving multiple resistance. So it's not necessarily short term. What I have done is we don't want to wait for longer. That's why if you are in active list, it's kind of a static list. It doesn't change. So even if the coin is not doing well, I cannot do in and out in the list. So if we keep the list smaller, shorter, and keep the dynamic part, which is like any coin that has momentum under ad hoc, probably that model will work out pretty well. So we saw API 3, for an example, has hit two multiple targets, four targets. We saw Gari hit multiple targets. We saw NMR hit two targets, and so on. So there are many coins who have hit many multiple resistance. So I can provide the next level in ad hoc itself. Um, and as in when I see the momentum is gone, I'll stop doing it. So you assume that if I'm not providing the next, so you don't ask me the next one. It's my job to give you the next one. So you don't follow up, like you follow up sometime on active coin when I miss. Here I will make sure I won't miss. So in ad hoc, if I don't provide the next one, means that is the, so whatever is the latest is the last. Okay, there is no next one. Okay, and I'll be active, like actively managing them. It's not that I'll post and forget about it. So that change I'll make. Okay, and yeah, I mean, let's see, because to me that model will work out in a much better way, especially when Bitcoin is not in a good mood, like in current state, where because most of the almost all the coins that we have selected are good coins in the active list, of course, but they are like blind followers, so to speak. So what is happening is when there are ad hoc opportunities like any pumping coins, and we are not getting the benefit, full benefit of it. So that's why I'm bringing this change. So I hope this is fine with everyone. If not, talk to me. I'll clarify further. But I think this should work out well. And I'll be tagging ad hoc. So I don't have it because then only you will be notified. Earlier, you might have not realized that there are some opportunities. So I started tagging from today. So yeah, if you don't like tagging, then you can mute it, but I have to tag to make sure, because these are time sensitive calls. Like CLH call I made, it's now up by 50%. I can it requires tagging. Okay, so let's continue the usual call, starting with BTC. BTC on weekly. See, the BTC on weekly looks weak. We highlighted when it was about this yellow level, where I realized that BTC could dip from here on. Now, um, it could be something similar to this move. We'll have to see how it unfolds. But when there was a drop, there was a bounce and then a retest. So this is a drop and a bounce, and this could be a retest. So BTC by no means is done from its uptrend. No, I didn't mean that. However, there's definitely a clear downside move here. Now, if it can stay above S8, well and good. But the moment it breaks below S8, then it's not good. I mean, here it went all the way down and made new low actually for a moment, and it could happen here as well. So we'll have to see how it goes. But the point is, to keep things simple, right now the weekly is going down, and it could get bounced either from one of the supports. If it bounces from some odd position, anyway, I'll update on BTC daily, so you'll come to know. But at this moment, it's going down. Okay, and yeah, so you will have to you'll have to keep an eye on BTC daily for the further change, right? From structure point of view, as you could see, this is very positive consolidation. This is top and a low and another top, like a double top, and this is like a double bottom. So very interesting. This is rectangular pattern. If you're interested, we had a drawing here in this version. Maybe no, not this version. On this, oh my bad. Where is my bitstamp? Yeah. See these two orange lines? Well, I'll make it more prominent. This is a rectangle, very simple pattern, rectangular pattern. And so basically, this is a midline, right? We had this midline earlier. Let's say this is approximately, let's make it higher like this. This is approximately a midline. Okay, with this. So we want BTC to be on the upper part, okay, upper part, not somewhere here. So this is the support, this is the supports, and then that support is a resistance. So this is very simple approach, very simple view. I mean, you don't have to be TA to understand this, right? This is a upper bound, this is lower bound, this is upper bound again, and this is close to lower bound but not all the way. So this is called higher low, and now it is here. So what you don't want to see is BTC near this region, because if it does, then it changes the balance. If you imagine a pendulum, then it's in trouble, a big trouble. I'm trying to keep things simple and simple words with the simple words. So if it comes down to this level, then BTC in real trouble, right? So in this, up to this area, this is totally like a retest area, like what you saw here, right? Something similar could happen, right? So we don't care what it does. So you may say this is like retest zone. You may say that this is a retest zone, correct? Because it could go down all the way. Yeah, it's dancing. This is a retest zone. I just extended a little lower just in case there is a spike. But yeah, 30960 is there for many weeks. I haven't changed a little. It is there for many weeks. This hasn't changed, right? So I think this is the ultimate and very simple pattern that we must track in as a group, as a family, to understand what BTC is doing. Other things are fine, but keeping the big picture in mind is very important. The health of BTC we have to measure with this regard. If we want BTC to be here, right? Here, ideally here above the green, ideally, because then this is a head and shoulder pattern. This shoulders create resistance. So ideally it should be around 53k, right? But even if it breaks above 50k, we said this is good enough. To me, I'm fine if it breaks above 50k. Essentially, it has to stay above this white dotted line, the upper part. This is not good to me. This is not good enough. There was a bounce, of course, good bounce, no doubt about it, but the bounce didn't pick the, I mean, didn't reach to the required level. So I think it has to do better than this, and time will tell. But as I said yesterday, people suffer because they are not aligned with what is happening. Your expectation has to be aligned with the present. The moment you do, it's not about your desire and expectation, it's about the reality. So if your expectation, sorry, your understanding, okay, let me rephrase it. If your understanding is aligned with your expectation, but the reality is opposite, then you will find difficult. Okay, but your understanding is aligned with the reality, with the present, then there is no conflict. Yeah. So sometimes if the BTC is pumping like uptrend, like this nice trend, then your expectation is that okay, it will continue going up. It works well. But when it is doing something this where prolonged consolidation, a very boring consolidation happen, and this kind of the range bound movement happens, still you're expecting it to go up, but it doesn't, and that's where the frustration kicks in. So my only suggestion is just align yourself or your expectation with the present situation. If you could do that, I don't think there will be any conflict. And as I mentioned early in the call, we'll always trying to find out some opportunity. So I think sometime if I'm changing, I'm not forcing you to change or in pushing you to change, but you have to change as well as per the situation for a better good, right? So it's up to you. It's a very personal decision, but I'm changing the model for a reason. And probably if you could change, then there are opportunities, right? CLH is 64% now. So point is, there are opportunities, but in a very different form. Okay, and we have to accept that situation and adopt. It's all about adoption, right? I mean, we are adapting the situation, and now and basically we are trying to be in tune with the situation. Otherwise there is going to be conflict between the expectation and the reality, and we'll be missing good opportunities, right? Like Mr. Wu said in the call that he paid for 1 year recently and it paid off just from one trade. I mean, to me, it is doable for everyone. Why not? Because I think the probability of hitting those ad hoc is pretty high, and I'm actively managing now. So I think we should be able to do well. Anyway, so point is on BTC, coming back to the BTC right now, you have to accept it that it's going down, and there will be one fine moment or level where it could bounce. But seeing is the um, I mean believing kind of. So unless we see that, we don't have to believe. So personally, I don't hope for anything. um I see things and take action, right? There's nothing to hope for. Yeah, probability wise you can determine the probability, but hope doesn't offer any good trade. Hope doesn't change the present. Sometimes hope is actually a killer. So point is, yeah, hope is like a placebo. Sometimes it works. Anyways, so I'm right now BTC, it has to bounce and it hasn't. So once it bounces, we'll talk about it. Okay, and this is kind of a no trade zone in my opinion, because it's uncertain, totally uncertain. The whole entire zone is uncertain, like this one. So there is nothing to hope for unless it breaks above 46K. Then we'll talk. Then it makes sense to talk about higher side. At this moment, there's nothing to talk about higher side unless we see a move. So I'm trying to keep things simple, and that is, I think, useful. Let's go through other. Now the thing is, as you could see, almost all the coins are in red, and they are in line with BTC. And recently what happened to BTC went up, and some of the coins didn't go up even, not equally. Some of the coins were doing well earlier and they didn't even move this time, like FTM, Luna, and all. So something has happened, and we have to accept that things change. And I mentioned this earlier. I gave an example of Link coin. Link was a star a couple of years ago. It was a star. Everybody used to talk about Link, chain Link, and then it was like sideline. Nobody talked about it. And 3 years ago, it was XRP. Every still people talk about XRP, but point is there are coins which are like they used to rule in terms of social media, or they were always in buzz, right? And they disappear. So things change, and we always have to be open minded, and we'll always find a winning horse. So we have to bet on a winning horse. Okay. And basically identify the change, and align ourselves to the change, then we should be able to do well. It could be change in terms of coins, it could be change in terms of direction, whatever. Point is, and we are not talking about change based on 1 day 2 days of movement, but we are looking at the weekly chart, and we have to tune ourselves. So that's my strong message. Okay, yeah. And yeah, so let's go through with the other coins and see how they are doing. So Aave is looking very weak. Okay, so I'll tag that for removal. Ada is looking very weak. It's near breakdown. I'm tagging as a red. Don't be surprised, as I said. If they do well, I'm going to add back. So don't worry about that. But I don't want to give a false impression that they're very healthy. Algo, I'm removing. You might see very short list here, but don't worry, I'm not taking away any opportunity, because I don't want to waste time here. Better I spend my time and probably your time in something which is pumping or rising. CLH is 72%. Alice, nothing, but I'm keeping. Atom, I'm keeping. Right now it's not bad, it's holding up pretty close to required level and above S2. It makes sense. Higher low, the trend is still good, right? If it breaks this, then we'll talk about. AVAX not bad, it's still above S2. It tried to break above the required level, but it rejected. Not a problem, not so bad. Also, this is a trend line you could see here. Yeah, so that's why it got rejected, which makes sense. So that's all right. Two attempts, two weekly attempts, but it's not dead yet, so we're keeping it. AXS, we're taking it out. It doesn't need to be on the. So yeah, it's near the previous support. We'll talk about later. Goodbye for now. BNB not bad. Still, it's maintaining low, so we're fine. Okay, we're fine with this. I'm expecting this, but if this goes down, it could make a new low. I think it will, but it's holding up pretty well. I should not have arrow now because it hasn't broken above the required level. The arrow has to be from this level. Not bad, as you could see, it's holding up this level. BSV we are just keeping. It's scrap, I know, at this moment, but I'm keeping not that from a prospect point of view, but from my tracking. Okay, you know what? I should remove. Otherwise, you will misunderstand that you know why I'm keeping it. It's not that I favor BSV, but it's like a dark horse to me. There's no soft corner for BSV, but I'm a technical guy into technology, and whatever BSV is doing, I like it. Whatever BTC is doing, they are sidetracked from Satoshi. That's the only reason why I'm following BSV. But there is no soft corner. There is no. I'm not holding any. I don't dream about BSV reaching whatever. I don't. I don't. I believe in the present. Presently, it's not doing well, BSV, so I don't care. But I keep an eye on both. But I'm removing just to avoid any confusion there. BTC team has taken the wrong way, but I'll not mix up here. We'll talk later. A CELR dropping. CRO, I'm keeping, not bad. See if this is still good. This is still good unless it breaks this. But this is still good. Doge, should I give a chance? It's on edge. I'll give a chance. Maybe next week I'll decide. DOT on edge. As you could see, it's on edge. Yeah. So be watchful. Be watchful. Okay. Because this is trend line. See it maintained here, but now it is coming back to this, which is not a good sign. Right? So still it's above. So we don't assume things, but we don't ignore either, right? So if you are a dot lover, you track this January 24th low, and just tune, as I said, accept the reality that it's going down if it breaks below, right? At this moment the reality is what? It's maintaining the support level pretty well. It making higher lows, right? This is low, higher low, still higher low. So it's okay. So the reality is, or the present says that it's not that bad, though it's threatening. It's not bad, but when it breaks, we have to accept that it is not doing well, and that approach has to be for each and every coin, as I said. And then you will see the difference, because the moment you accept what is happening, I'm not talking about daily, not intraday, this is weekly chart we are talking about, right? So it's not something we are saying based on 1 day 2 day movement. So I'm serious about this. And I mean, if anyone is at the wrong side, I'll be very, very disappointed in a way, you know. When it, but BTC bounced, I was with BTC, but the moment it started losing, I'm changing. So we had to be, you know, that's what I'm saying, aligned. Anyways, EGLD very similar, BNB EGLD very similar. You look at this one, so this is still okay. So in this range this is fine, but the moment it breaks below January 17th low, then it's not okay. So we are going to keep it. ETH, same story, same story. We're going to keep it, but here it's January 30, January 24th low, right? To be watched. File, we are it's not doing well, so we are going to drop it. Okay, it was disastrous, and it's still continuing to be, I mean, continuing with its down move. There was little tiny bounce, but there is no scope for hope. I mean, ideally I could wait for this one, but there's no strength even in the past, so it doesn't make sense. So other coins, as I mentioned, so you see this is it maintained, and it broke this one long back. Some of the coins which we saw, EGLD for example, they maintain. So if a file is like somewhere here, if you want to compare with EGLD or BNB, right? From a TA point of view. So you would know why I'm doing this. BNB, they are like here. Ethereum, Dot, they are like here. So the life cycle point of view, this is ahead in bear trend, like Aave is ahead in bear trend. They are weaker, right? So now we should get rid of them. Flux. See, Flux is, this is, I added this box for a reason. This is head, this is shoulder, head and shoulder. And this gives you the neckline. This is a little tricky. The neckline is tricky. It's like a zone. Neckline is the line created by the bottom of the shoulder. Okay, so this is a neckline, but because of this ugly spike, it extended all the way here, and this is a high. So basically the support, there is a wider support zone, you see. So far this is okay, so we can keep flux. But if it breaks below January low, then it's useless, because then it could come down to this level, $1, which doesn't make sense to me. So we'll keep for this week for sure. FTM is not in good mood. See, this is one of the stars, as I mentioned, but now I'm not expecting anything major at this moment. It's going down. Let me put it in a simple, in simple words. It's going down for now. Something like this. Okay, something like this. So this could go down like this, and if it changes, we'll come back and change our stand. At this moment we are looking at this weekly, and it is going down. It tried hard, but we are going to keep this coin. We are not going to throw away, because still it's higher low. So that's why I'm keeping it. But if you are thinking that FTM was a superstar, of course a superstar, and it fine day it will go up, it could. It at this moment it's not. So i don't I don't want, I mean, there's no opportunity. In other words, there is no opportunity with this coin. It has to break above required level. First of all, it has to make a weekly green, and then a second weekly green. At this moment it's going down, so I'll simply ignore this coin. I'm going to keep it, but there's nothing to offer. Gala, not bad, not bad, but rejected by R2 earlier, and then recently this week rejected by R1. You see, look at it. So we can add a box again, like a simple box, and say this is like no trade zone or no consolidation zone. This kind of approach makes the life easy, because then, so here you know that it, so here rejected, 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 you clearly see that. So to me, the opportunity comes in this case is when it breaks above R2. So I think I should have, I don't know why I don't have the required level here, but let me add here the green level, right? The required level is around point, let me round up, 0.406. Yeah, 0.406. So unless we see it breaking above 0.406, I think, yeah, let me keep it simple. Then we'll look into this. So we're going to keep it for sure, but there's nothing, there's no opportunity here, and this could go down all the way here. So there is more risk at this moment. There's no opportunity, but more risk. GRT had a good move, but it was little, for only for some time, and it is near this one, so it's gone for now. There's no momentum. It's just one day. It's like a firefly. HNT is not bad, so we're going to keep it, but there's no opportunity. It's got rejected by R5 multiple times. It's not able to break above this level. So it has to at least go above R5, at least. This is the required level, but at least R5. Until then, we should not think about any opportunity here. I think I'm going to take this out as well. It had hit R1, but since then it's pretty weak, not even able to break above this, so we're throwing it away. KCS is a good one. Still, it's holding up strong here. There's yeah, so it's still consolidating here near the support, not near this one, so which is good sign. One of the strongest coin at this moment. It's able to retain the value if you look at it compared to many other coins, so we're going to keep it. It makes sense. Okay. KDA, KDA, not bad. If you look at it, it's still making progress weekly, right? But if it comes down to this, then it's in trouble, right? But so far, not bad. It's still above S2. I think it deserves to be in active list for now. So we're going to keep it. It's not able to break this downtrend in this case. It's not able to break, you see. It's got rejected. So it's trying hard but not able to break above. KSM, we're dropping it. It doesn't make sense. Broken S2 doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's threatening this level, July 2021. Some are ahead in the game in terms of bear trend. Some are holding up. You saw the file is somewhere here. Ethereum, BNB, KCS are somewhere here. Some of them are near this low. So that different level depends on the strength. You take this off. Link is in trouble too. It's weak. Okay, look at this one. It's already it hit this one already, like case and 3 weeks ago. Now it's again instead of staying here, it's now here, right? So maybe I should give a week. I'm not sure. I'll give a week, considering that it has a, yeah. Okay, I'll give a week. LTC, I'm going to kick it out. I mean, I accepted LTC and now it's devaluation anyway. So, um, what can we do? Luna, Luna is fine, but no opportunity at this moment. But it's still good. Mm, if January 31st low has to be maintained. If not, then I think then it will look for the downside move, and then we have to be careful with Luna. Luna is something like at this moment there's nothing wrong with Luna, but if it starts the downside move or bear trend, let me highlight that it could be very bad. I mean, the speed. When I saw this one, it scared me a lot in a way. It scared me not in a literal way, but it has a potential to lose significant value in single week. I always believe that if it could go up so fast, it could go down equally fast. So that's the nature, and that's nature. So far so good. So we're going to keep it. Mana is still in a strong position, so we're going to. It makes sense. It's still above S1 support, so it's in good position at this moment. But yeah, it required level is this about R7, but not bad at all. It's down by 3.5% today, but still weekly is okay. Thematic is well like similar to many other coin we talked about like BNB, EGLD and other dot, and they're very close to this new low. Sorry, January low, right? So got to be watchful. Still, it's okay. One was doing well, and still it's not bad, but I didn't like it breaking January low. That's not a good sign, right? But still above November low, so I'm fine. But if you look at this one, it has, oops. So there is some room left here. So we're going to keep it. RNDR is struggling, really struggling. It got rejected by R2 again. I did really well to start with, but getting rejected by R2. Not able to break above R2. There's no, not able to settle above R2. That's a challenge. I think I'm going to keep for this week. Yeah, I'm going to keep. Let's see. It's not bad. It really did well. It moved up by 800%, but still, this is like counter trend is not ending. Counter trend will end once it breaks above the required level. So this is not bad at all, but very much volatile. That's for sure. Very much volatile. Okay, so weekly, it erased the gain, lost everything. That's a little disappointing that way. Sand is one of the good ones, but last 2 weeks showing. So this is still a retest range. So this is still okay as long as it's above S2 or maybe I would say January low. I'm not going to change the S2, but you can consider January low and S2 as a range and say, okay, as long as it's above this range, it's okay. Otherwise, not okay. Because it doesn't make sense then. See, when it dipped here, went up, and then we can say this was a retest, fine. But then this has made a new low. It went up, not able to break above this support level, which was resistance, and then we can say it can still retest. But if it breaks below, then it is like this one breaking this level. We don't want to build hope beyond this. This is fine, that okay, this is new all-time high, right? Comes down, goes up, retest. This is totally all right. This is not okay, but still we can say because it gained so much, it's not that bad. But if it breaks below this, then it's not, it doesn't make sense. I mean, it can then go down up to this level 1.55, then it doesn't make sense. So point is the breaking below January low, if it does, then it's not good. So far all right, as long as about this support zone. SKL did well in last 3-4 weeks. Before that it was very bad, and so this is still good. Today it's up by 8% and about S2, which is good. We're going to keep it, and it tried to break above this red line which we had a few weeks ago, and I think if it can recover, then well and good. Otherwise we'll see next week. So far so good, right? This is the fourth green week, which is very optimistic, which is good. Okay, so SOL, well, this was one of the stars, right? And but the star is not shining at this moment. And I had one drawing which I removed. I wish I had kept it, or I'm not sure if it was with a different layout. uh, Basically, yeah, I had this box basically. uh, I compressed this one like this. So you see what it projected all the way here, in short, which is like very funny looking because it was disastrous project. I mean, but maybe today you'll be able to see what I'm trying to depict here on today. So basically, this is like a crown. Let me simplify this. This is like a crown, yeah. And so this is left hand side, this is center part, this is right hand side. This is not head and shoulder clean, there's no head and shoulder, but kind of and what I projected that if it doesn't break above required level, then it will continue going down, not in a straight line. Never, it never moves in straight line. But I had this kind of a drawing, not which I removed later. So I think it makes sense now. If it breaks above then this level, then we can expect it. But right now it's going down. Anyway, so the downside pressure is still high for Solana. So it has to break above this level, right? At least 134 to stop this. Right now, there's no sign. This consolidation it could be for the downside move. Okay, very dangerous. And the way I projected was like this. Um, I I basically this is left shoulder, and the whole entire thing is right shoulder. Basically, all the way down. This is right now. It's not probable scenario, but this is a potential scenario. It could go down to $20 or maybe $25, 26, this range if it continues going down, because then it will create a huge head with this left shoulder, then I create a right shoulder. And I don't want to say more. Even this is not required here. Will every week we'll monitor, but for now I'm just going to keep this, which makes sense. And this week I'm going to keep because of its previous status of being solid coin. Uni I'm going to take out. There's nothing. It's already here. VET is on edge. There's nothing. I'm going to take out. We'll see. We are not bad at this moment. Some of the coins you must have realized by now that they are very much similar. Very much similar. And we are going to keep this one. XRP is up by 4.5. Not bad. It hit R1 on not in a big way. This is very like range bound movement. Look at this one. For 5 weeks, 6 weeks, it's doing nothing but moving in this range. So I'm not sure what it's trying to do at this moment. This looks positive consolidation. So if it breaks above, well and good. But at this moment, this is I would consider in consolidation. And so this is like a long consolidation. Multiple days. So let's go back to a weekly. Yeah, let's say, yeah, not bad for now. But nothing major though. It had a good 2 weeks, but it not consistent from a long-term point of view. Short-term fine, but yeah, it makes sense for us to keep it. Okay, so that's it. So we tag some of the coins, and I will, if they do well, I'll add them back. So that's not a problem. But at least we'll filter the active list now. We have filtered it so we have less number of coins to be tracked from both the sides, right? So that will be easier, and that was the idea, is to keep the active list relevant, and that is always good for you to pick and choose. Yeah, okay. With that note, I'm ending this recording, the weekly update for, and open for questions.